Welcome back to our channel.
This week we're installing 600 watts of solar panels on our roof.
If you watched our last video, you saw that we painted our roof white, and we did that in preparation for this week's project, which is installing our 6 solar panels that we got from Renogy. You can see one of those behind us now.
We put on the mounting brackets for that one that you see behind us, and we're going to try installing that before we get out the other 5.
Yep. Wish us luck. So the solar panels came with 8 of these self-tapping screws, which I'm sure work fine, but just for a little bit of extra security, we're going to use 4 bolts in place with half of these self-tapping screws. And that's kind of the main reason that we're installing the solar panels now, is because we wanted to install this before we put the insulation into the roof, so that we have access to screw and fasten in the bolts from inside the bus.
We have the first 2 solar panels in. They're the ones you can see behind me on the right side of the bus. They went in pretty easy. The mounting brackets bent a good bit, which is making us a little nervous about the longevity of this install, but I think it'll be okay. We ended up using more bolts than self-tapping screws because they're honestly a little bit easier to get in, and I feel like they're more secure than the self-tapping screws. I was surprised by that. I thought the bolts would be really hard to get in, but with the drill first, it's really no big deal. Four down, 2 to go.
So we almost had the last one in, so we thought we'd give you a quick rundown of the process that we're taking to install these. Each panel comes with 4 of these mounting brackets. Each one has a single hole for a bolt that you screw on underneath the solar panel. Once you do that, it comes with 8 self-tapping screws. Like we mentioned earlier, we've been only using 2 self-tapping screws just to hold it into place on the roof while we drill out holes and drop larger bolts in and then secure the bolts from inside the bus. There is one drawback with that, is that once we put the insulation and the rest of the ceiling on from inside the roof, we won't be able to access those bolts anymore, so we won't be able to easily remove the solar panels. But seeing how we're already installing 600 watts, I don't think we'll really have to replace these. I think the solar charge controller we bought can actually handle up to 800 watts of power, so if we wanted to, we could add 2 panels later on. But for now, I'm pretty happy with what we have, and I don't think it'll really cause us any problems in the future. You ready to hop up on the roof?
So right now we have 2 solar panels on each side of the bus, and the final 2 are going to be right here in the middle, slightly offset from the others because of the fans. and they're connected in series and in parallel. So there are like 3 of them connected in series, the other 3 are connected in series, and then those 2 sets of panels are connected in parallel with each other. We bought a kit from Renogy, and the company made it really easy to figure out how we should set ours up, and they sent us like the correctly sized fuse and everything, and they have like a really helpful diagram. So really the setup has been pretty easy. We're just kind of following the instructions and lining it up with the diagram that we've been provided. We just need to finish installing the last 2 solar panels, and then we'll have all 6 firmly screwed in, and then we just need to make sure that we get the positive and negative cables going from the solar panels to the solar charge controller, which will be inside the bus. So we need to use a cable entry gland to feed the cables through the roof so that they can get from the solar panels up here to the inside of the bus. So the cable entry gland is going to go right there. So that's where we're trying to lead all the wires to right now.
All right, we installed the last ones. Natalie just came down and we're here to do a test. We've got like 10 minutes until the sun goes down, so we have to be fast.
What's it say?
So it's 57.8 volts.
Wow!
Which is crazy.
That's so cool.
We've got our batteries, so I want to pull those out, hook it up with the solar charge controller, and just see how everything works together as, you know, as one. We hooked up the batteries inside, and I was too lazy to unplug them to carry them all out here. So we just put them on a board and carried the whole system out here. So we've got 3 batteries hooked up to our solar charge controller behind here, and we just hooked up the cables that lead to the solar panels, and we are currently reading 36.6 volts. So it's dropped about 20 volts since the last time we checked, but it looks like by the arrows, it looks like it's charging the batteries, or at least doing a trickle charge. It's like 0.1 amps in. So, which makes sense because these are 100% full right now.
We got all 6 solar panels in, and tomorrow we're gonna pick you guys back up, and that's when we'll put in the cable entry gland on the roof.
So we kind of had to rush out of here last night because it was getting dark and really cold. But this is what the system looks like in the daytime. We have all our batteries hooked up kind of haphazardly right now, but I don't know, it's working pretty good. It's pretty sunny right now, but we are underneath a lot of trees, so I think it's partially shaded. We're gonna work on putting in the cable entry gland. So this is what it looks like, and basically you have your 2 entry points for the cables. You can screw this down so there's a snug fit. There's like a little rubber O-ring in there, and then you just cut a hole to place it over, and then you can glue it or silicone it in place, and it should form a nice watertight seal. The instructions are simple, but let's see how long it takes us. We've got our spot picked out. I've got it traced out here. I think there's 2 options you could do. You could either cut out a large square to match this hole precisely, or just do 2 smaller holes. I think that's what we're gonna do because there's only 2 cables coming in. So we brought up a drill, and then we have some grommets. So we're gonna drill through the holes, stick the grommets in, and then we should be able to feed the wires through. All right, I might test fit it with the first grommet to make sure that we sized them correctly. Okay, all right, I think I got it. Cool. Nice. It's not too bad. All right, cool. Got our 2 holes. All right, so we need to feed the cable in before we glue it. I don't want to try to fish it through after we glue it. They're still connected to the batteries downstairs, so I've got to run down there and disconnect it. Oh well. All right, I'm gonna run downstairs real quick and unplug them from the batteries.
The kit that we bought is pretty good in general. It's worked really well for us and the diagram was very easy to follow. But my one complaint is that it didn't come with the cable entry gland, which I guess makes sense because not everyone who gets these solar panels is installing them on an RV or a vehicle. But we had to order that separately, and then whenever we ordered the cable entry gland, we also had to order our own grommets because since there are two ways of installing it, some people just cut the big hole and then some people get two smaller holes to feed the wires through. None of the grommets were included for that, so it's just luckily the shipping was pretty fast, so it wasn't a big deal, but there are a couple extra pieces you have to order outside of the kit.
Alright, I'm gonna go down and pull it all the way through.
So both of those wires are live, which is why we're feeding them in one at a time, just to make sure that they don't touch and cause a spark.
So once we're good, we can tighten these down too, and we'll clamp it over the rubber seal. All right, don't judge us. This is the only glue we have, and I'm not going out to the store just to buy a little bit of glue for the roof here. So we're gonna reuse some of the wood glue. Should be fine, and then we're also gonna silicone it down. Also, little sneak peek of the future, we're gonna have a rooftop deck right here, and we're planning on putting it above this entry gland, so I'm pretty confident this is not gonna be ripped off anytime soon. While that's drying, we're gonna come up here and start siliconing these spots. We had siliconed the fan maybe about a week ago now, and we noticed a couple leaks. We bought some more lap sealant. We're gonna hit it with a bigger coat, and hopefully that stops the leaks. And then while we're out here, we're also gonna go ahead and silicone the holes that we made yesterday to install the solar panels.
So our solar setup is done. We have all the solar panels mounted on the roof and we've siliconed around them. We have the cables running to the batteries inside the bus, so they're not going through the window anymore.
I love having the battery bank in here so we can test things out. I love having the fan going. It's really cold today, so Natalie doesn't like it, but she was telling me to turn it off, but I wanted to keep it on to test it, and so far it's running strong.
I wish we'd installed like heaters or something to test out for this week because the weather just got suddenly really cold.
Yeah.
But it's conceptually it's really cool that we have power and that we can power a fan off of our solar setup, so I am excited about it. It's just a little too cold for a fan today.
But yeah, I think that's all we have for you this week.
Yeah, please don't forget to like and subscribe, leave us a comment. You can find us on Instagram if you want more frequent updates. We have a link to it in the description.
Well, we really enjoy sharing this journey with you. We really have been enjoying the comments, so keep them coming, and we'll look forward to seeing you in the next video.
Yeah, thank you so much for watching. Bye!